Yeah. Um, I said I was going to do another live yesterday. Hello, by the way. Um, Sometime in the morning, but I didn't ever get around to it. I went back and I listened to the live I did when I was woken up at 3:40 yesterday. Actually, it's 2:50 tonight. I haven't been to bed. I'm probably not going to be going to bed very soon, but I might not. But I went back and I was just curious to see what the background sounded like in here with nothing happening in here, with my wife asleep and it being 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. And I don't really get the heat on. Let's put nothing here. But I sit here and I've just been over watching somebody else's live channel. Yeah. But anyway, I was interested to dive into the deepfake premise again, but I didn't really do any preparations, so I'm just gonna sit here and talk for a while about general topics. I'm not expecting anyone to be around in here, but then again, I didn't expect anybody to be around in here yesterday morning at 3:40 in the morning for me. But as I was talking about how they woke me up with their deepfake harassment, and in the midst of V2K projection. For those of you who don't know, V2K is called Voice to Skull, which is electronic harassment. It's part of the remote neural monitoring that they do when they're terrorizing you with their harassment. I've been dealing with it it's going on 4 years now. Constant death threats, harassment, slander, lies, whatever. Impersonating you on whatever streams they're performing. It just gets old. Gets old talking about it, gets old living it. Not, I know it isn't exactly a topic that people want to hear about. Unless, of course, you're a TI or someone that knows a TI and wants to understand about it. You have a rudimentary understanding about what's happening to you at first, when you first realize that they've gone over it after the initial surveillance that they perform on you for however many years they've been watching you without letting you know they're watching you, and defaming you and discrediting you, and hacking your Facebook, hacking your YouTubes, your cell phones, whatever they're doing to gain information about you or whatever. But what I've been experiencing is it's a general tactic that they do throughout every target's surveillance. They put you in a place to where they try to get you to feel bad about yourself or isolate yourself from everyone, and for lack of a better term, subject you to their projection of how you were supposed to be, at least how they present you to others. I know, no one cares, right? But if you're a target, you care. It's not simple cyberbullying. It's not simple stalking. It's not simple harassment. It's all of those on steroids. They don't use normal technology for this. As I've mentioned before, if you're familiar with Edward Snowden, which I'm sure you probably are, he mentions in his interview about some of the tactics used for neural monitoring and how they are able to literally reach into your mind and see what you're thinking as you're thinking it. If you're typing a letter on your computer, they're able to see you in the midst of it. And as you rethink a thought or backspace and retype it, they're able to see that. If you picture something in your head, they're able to see that. Now, I've went into detail about it in previous videos, but what I haven't really went into detail about is how they will use the information they have to literally affect you in a real sense in your everyday life, with impersonation, deepfaking, and using actors in I haven't had time to dig deep and find the Discords or the WhatsApp or the private YouTube chats or communities where they do this at, where they, perform their notification harassment, where they will, delegate others to meet you and, harass you and surveil you where you go to the grocery store or if you're going to the park, wherever it is that you intend to go. I understand I'm not being really excited. It's not something to be excited about. Um, as a target, you understand that it's melodramatic and that, as I've seen others, it puts you in a place that you don't want to be. Some more than others. Some are more animated about it, about what's happening to them with the directed energy weapons, the harassment, the broadcast, the streams that they perform. Pretty much every targeted individual has their own way of dealing with it or coping with it. Like, as I said, though, some seem to take it harder than others, which doesn't diminish, the overall scope of it for the people that aren't taking it as hard as the others. It is a process that's designed to cause you to feel a certain kind of way. Um, I personally, I don't smile as much as I used to smile, and I'm not as likely to small talk or whatever. Um, as I used to be. Not as ready to engage in conversation with people. Not as prone to tomfoolery or horseplay. Um, because as a general rule with the gang stalkers, if you are flippant or tend to embellish, to have fun, bullshit, whatever you want to call it, they will educate that behavior and turn it against you. To make you look silly, to make you look defunct, crazy, whatever. But in that respect, if you were to look at pretty much any YouTube channel, um, there's some pretty ludicrous behavior in a real sense. Um, I didn't really have a scope of research today. Like I said, I wanted to dig a little bit into deepfake, because that's what I've been experiencing the most of in the last month or so. Because they haven't been, as, like I said, as obnoxious with the V2K. But I did, however, go back and look at the video that I just did, like I said, and I had mentioned that I didn't know if you could hear the electronic harassment in the background. And I looked at it for a while and I watched the video. And yes, it is there. It's in the background. With the I just turned my fan off on my computer. It's kind of clicking. But anyway, that brings down the volume level in here to a pretty much absolute silence, except for the little buzzing every now and then. But right now, they're not being vocal at all, at least for me. I'm absolutely certain they're communicating with each other in a lower modulated form, which is not being broadcast toward me, to me right now. But that has no bearing on the remote neural monitoring aspect, where they're watching everything you're doing. They're just not clapping back with me at the moment. They are, but you're not going to hear it, I don't think. They're not being obnoxious with it right now. They're still saying the same things, they're just not being so loud. Someone had asked me before about the recordings I've made of the V2K when I'm sitting here in silence. Is it really that loud? And yes, it is. It is really that loud. Hearing all the different voices of the group of people that are involved in the harassment for a target. Generally, it sounds like anywhere from 6 to 8 people at a time, because the 2 or 3 that are the most in the foreground are likely the people that are presenting the stream and doing the deepfake. One will be you, and then one will be the interviewer, if you want to call them that. Should say the instigator, or the slanderer, or the harasser. But we'll call them interviewer to be nice. And one will be presenting themselves as you, the victim, and then there'll be an outside good cop, bad cop, as in you've got the interviewer, you've got the victim, which is you, and the good cop, bad cop thing. There's someone else playing the good cop to the bad cop. Keeping in mind that they are in no uncertain terms are they police or affiliated with that. People tend to think that it's all perpetrated by government or police or sanctioned entities. It's all an illegal activity. I don't care if they have a badge on or not. If they were a police officer or an FBI or a CIA agent before they started doing this, they relinquish all rights to that, in my opinion, because it is a complete and utter illegal function. Um, um, it's a persecution. It's not a legal action. Um, if it was legal, they would have laws governing it, and they would have people, being prosecuted that are being harassed and tortured in this fashion, rather than being killed and caused to hurt themselves, because that's the general agenda, um, to cause a person to become, unstable or appear to be unstable, um, to act out in a very real sense. They call it a soft kill method. Um, as I've stated before, I know of other people in the place where I live here that, before I even knew what gang stalking was, um, one in particular reached out to me about needing a friend, and well, during our talk, I didn't understand what, literally what he was meaning when we were talking, that he needed a friend and why he needed a friend. Um, because he didn't really make it clear that he was being stalked by these same people here and what was going on, because he didn't really talk about it. But after the fact, and being stalked myself by these same people and harassed and persecuted, I understand that they did do to him what they're doing to me, and in the end it caused his demise. I mean, he was an old man, and of the 6 people in here that have died over the time since these people I'm speaking of moved into this area, uh, another one I know was experiencing the same stuff. And the reason I know this is because of the things that happened leading up to his death. Um, saying that uh, there's a game they play where it's kind of like a passive aggressive assault, where they will antagonize you to be aggressive, and incite you to leave your home, go outside, and be prepared to be in a fight with someone, or an altercation or confrontation. And they're goading you to go out and do this. And and the premise is that if you don't, they win, and they're able to request something of you, or you win and you're able to request something from them. Well, I never requested anything, and I'm not about to, because it's all bullshit in the first place. But grandma would come over here and talk to me a lot, and she's part of this. She's one of the main players of it, and would say, "Oh, he's crazy because Joey's standing out in front of cars taking pictures, saying, 'This is my car now, that's my car now, these are all my cars now.'" It's basically a game about your automobiles and things of value. And there's never any fights. There's never any altercations. It's all a deep fake. That's why I'm talking about deep fake and the impersonation aspect. Because no matter what the argument is you have with their gang stalkers on V2K, and you will have arguments with them in your head and over the air with their wireless communication and remote monitoring. And through devices like your television set, because they're able to manipulate those too. They're able to manipulate your computer, and you'll hear voices in there, and hear voices in your television, and you'll hear them through your radio in your car. And yeah, I know, crazy, but it really happens, and it is happening. And it has to do with your television and your refrigerator. She'd come over here one time, and I take her to the grocery store, and she's talking about some other woman that lived over here, and says, "Oh, she's throwing her TV away." Well, there's a commercial that used to be on where they're throwing out the refrigerator and the television, and they'll use that in respect to the game. And there's a form of Morse code that they'll use to do with blinking, to do with the game. 1 blink for yes, 2 blinks for no, 3 blinks for maybe, 4 blinks for mercy, 5 blinks for no mercy. And these are, I'm just laying out what's happened to me with these people. They'll try to recruit you. If they can't get you to conform to their scenario, and you start speaking out like I have, and telling exactly what they're doing. They rape people. They manipulate people, women, rape them without their knowledge while they're in some sort of trance state. They are able to control people at intervals, like I've said, like an avatar. And things that people have said to you, that you'll talk to them about it, and they're like, "I don't know what you're talking about." They don't remember it because it wasn't them saying it. It was them saying it, but it wasn't them saying it. They'll manipulate your visual cortex, so you'll see things, weird things, because they are actually manipulating your visual cortex. I've heard others say they've seen reptiles and stuff. Well, you're not really seeing anything. What you are seeing is the manipulation that they're performing on you, on your visual cortex, to manipulate what you're seeing. No one else is going to see it. You're not going to be standing in a crowd and they're going to make somebody's face turn into a reptile or a demon or whatever, and you're going to point at it and say, look, he's a demon. Well, you're going to look nuts, because they're going to say, no, he doesn't, because it's not happening to them. It's not happening to anyone else but you, the target. They'll manipulate people, you know. They've done it to my wife before. She doesn't know it. I'm hesitant to ever tell her about it, because when I do bring it up, stuff like that how they'll manipulate my dog, my cat, because it is a scary thing. Now, I'm not saying I'm afraid. I'm not afraid of these sick fucks. I welcome a confrontation between any of them. I beat them the fuck down any minute of the day that they decided to, show their ugly face, the real side of their ugly face, not the smiley, not the two-faced side, not the shiny side, the other side. But I'm not going to go causing an altercation with someone that's been hiding their manipulation in broad daylight, but to everyone but me. Granted, I've said who they are, what they're doing, and I have a lot of proof to back it up. Physical evidence due to hacking and identity manipulation, mail fraud, theft, registration on my car was stolen, and I'm absolutely certain it was someone in here. Breaking into my mailbox using a copied key that they got somehow, changing my address at Edison via phone or on the internet, which I never did, creating Amazon accounts, which I never did, fake bank accounts, lots of things that are real, hacked Facebook account, hacked Google account, hacked YouTube account, removing of your comments on YouTube, manipulating comments on Twitter and Facebook. Things like that. Actual tangible evidence. I'm not talking about helicopters flying over your house. I'm not talking about fucking one headlight. I'm not talking about some guy standing across the street looking at you funny, wearing a red shirt or carrying a Target bag. I'm talking about shit that's actual evidence. Something that you can take into the courtroom. Not some shit that every layman's going to look at and go, yeah, there's a dude standing in a red shirt. He's got a Target bag and he's looking at you with his phone. Or there's some people talking and you hear some things about you in the conversation. Yeah. Unless you record that and you can absolutely prove that the conversation is directed at you, that's not evidence. You may know it is, but no one else is going to listen to it. You understand? It might be evidence to you and to other targets, but to people on the outside or the gang stalkers or people that are going to perpetuate the scam, You're not going to convince people. But the real problem is, even with the real evidence, with the concrete evidence, with the recordings I've had, with things like that, the actual proofs of the hacking of your Facebooks, the hacking of your Google, the hacking of your YouTube, the impersonation, the videos I found where they've impersonated me on YouTube, which I presented here, actual evidence, the knowledge that they've fucking killed people. It takes a certain kind of person to deal with this shit and not lose your cool. To be able to resume somewhat semblance of a normal life, and to be able to not think about this shit. Like when you're talking to someone in a general conversation and these fucking scumbags are trying to distract you with their V2K chatter and their harassment and their threats all along while you're trying to talk to somebody. You're trying to block out these fuckbags while you're trying to have a conversation with your wife, with your friend, with your mother, with whoever you're talking to, like on the phone, like I do with my cousin sometimes. I need to make a call to my cousin. I haven't called her in a while. It's a real thing. It's not a form of schizophrenia. It's not paranoia. It's not a mental illness of your own. It's a mental illness of these scumbags that are trying to ruin your fun, your life, your pursuit of happiness. Like I said, I don't smile a lot anymore. There ain't a lot to smile about. There's not a lot to joke about. I know nobody's watching this. But the reality of it is that they're watching me. They're watching what I'm saying. And you just heard them talk right there. Bitch crying over there. This is what I'm talking about, how I know my neighbors are involved in it. Because I have 0 people viewing this. But these fucking scumbags are making comments about it while I'm talking right here. Him next door, few houses over. I keep saying who they are. I'm tired of doing that. They aren't worth the attention. Not going to give them that much credit. Any fucking monkey can push a button that somebody hands you. They aren't special people. They're special people. But anyway, I'm getting off track with that. Regarding the deep fake and the impersonation, as I said, they've stolen my own intellectual property. Anytime I pick up the guitar anymore, I have to record it, or they'll steal it if I'm trying to write something different. I don't spend time playing other people's music. I could sit there and play Metallica, or I could sit there and play fucking Creedence Clearwater and shit, and learn to play all their shit. But what's the point of that? As a musician, I want to write my own music, my own property. as an artist. I don't want to spend all my time copying other people's their style, or drawing Superman or drawing Batman. That's why I intended to create Dark Matter, Paladin, Dead Parrot, Working Man. That's why I invented those ideas. And they stole the part of that. They stole 3 of those. And all three of those, Dead Parrot, Paladin, and Dark Matter, were stolen right here on YouTube. Stolen right here on YouTube. The song I wrote in my apartment 20 years ago was stolen. They made fucking millions on it. I got nothing. I got no credit, no recognition, no pat on the back. I guess the pat on the back I'm getting is the knife that's getting stuck there. That's the pat. That's the deep fake. Where they're impersonating me on whatever. I don't know if they're doing it in a private chat on YouTube. I'm not certain. I know they've done it literally in plain sight right here before on I Love Comics channel. Twice. And that's the only ones I've found, but I'm certain they've done it in other places. They stole my comic book here, right here on Drawn and Quartered on YouTube, episode number 45, the Godsword episode. That's Paladin. I called the fuckers out on it. I'm not gonna mince words with these fuckers about it. I called them out to their face on their fucking show. Why wouldn't I call them out on my own fucking show? Dark Matter. Fucking Dillard turned it into fucking Cosmonaut. Not bullshitting here. Why else do you think I say, use a voice stress analyzer, use facial recognition? I'm telling the fucking truth. And you can use it on them and they're going to fucking lie to your face. Just like he lied to my face. That's what I'm talking about with the deep fake. They not only impersonate you, but they steal you. They steal everything about you for profit. Got a viewer in here. Hi, viewer. I don't pretend to be okay with this. I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna kowtow to these fucking disgusting pigs. These fucking Nazi fucking terrorists. As I said before, I've been dealing with this for 3.5, almost 4 years now. And I've been talking about it for a couple years now. There are others that their experiences pretty much mirror a lot of my own. A lot of them won't talk about it. A lot of them do talk about it. A lot of them talk about it on a daily basis. But there are a lot, even hundreds more, that don't talk about it. Maybe because they know that whoever they've told in the first place gives them the glassy eyes and doesn't want to hear it. You can maintain that gang stalking isn't real all you want. You can sit there and you can say, why would anybody stalk you? I just gave you several reasons why I'm being stalked, why they want me dead. Because they're criminals. And that's what criminals do. It's what cyber stalkers do. It's what bullies do. It's what murderers do. Thieves do. And in the process, they try to discredit the victim. And that's all I see when you come in here and say gang stalking isn't real. Why would anybody gang stalk you? You're paranoid. You're schizo. You might as well just tell me you're a fucking gang stalker. You might as well just say I'm a fucking gang stalker. I'm talking to you as a gang stalker right now when you say that shit. Because there are 100 of us. There are hundreds of us that you're doing that shit to. And they all see you. They all see your bullshit in chats, your comments, your disinformation, your joke. That's the deepfake. That's part of the deepfake. Because all those people are fake. They know they're fucking criminals. They know this shit's real. They know they're doing it. And they're never gonna do anything else. Except for lie, cheat, steal, kill, threaten, harass, annoy, and defame others. That's their spiel. That's what they do. And there's a bunch of them right fucking here on YouTube, and you probably in chats with them. And the thing is, one day it's going to be you, because when they're done with someone, they've got to have a new supply, and it could be you. And then you're going to be the same person saying, I don't believe this. I don't believe this. And then it's going to happen to you, and everybody else is going to say that to you. They're going to say, oh, you don't know what you're doing. You know, blah, blah, blah. You're paranoid. You're schizophrenic, blah, 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 blah. You're going to hear all that shit. And you're going to think back at the time you told someone that was telling you it was happening, the shit you said to them. You're going to say, why won't anybody listen to me? Why won't anybody help me? Why won't anybody help me? Because that's the game. That's the deepfake. So, that's 48 minutes and 50 seconds of a somewhat comprehensive experience from me to you, in a very real sense of things that happened and how they pertain to gang stalking, and how it could pertain to you when and if, more like when, you're gang stalked, when you're harassed, when you're threatened 24/7 on V2K, and harassed with remote neural monitoring 24/7 while you're sleeping, while you're awake, and how you're going to be belittled and defamed and discredited and called crazy, even though you have all the evidence in the world. And I'm not talking about helicopters flying over your house. And I'm not talking about one headlights and different colors of cars and shirts, even though that's a part of this shit, and the street theater. Talking about the things that you can prove, and they're still not going to listen. They're still not going to give a shit. And you're going to have to deal with that. Thanks for coming up. Have a good night.